Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of Working Mum to Business Mum, helping working mums realise their dream of starting or growing their own business so that they can give up the day job to be more present in their families. I'm Debbie Lucas, and in this episode I'll be talking you through how to create your ultra smart goal for 2022. This is not just any old goal. This one will be so amazing you'll be bolting out the starting gates in January to get this done. Gosh, it's the 29th of December already. I hope you had a lovely Christmas with your family. We're now in that weird time between Christmas and New Year where you're never really sure what day of the week it is. But give me the next 10 minutes or so of your time and we can really set the foundation of realising your dream to start or grow your own business so that you can give up your day job and have more time and magical moments like these with your family. Firstly, why is setting goals and writing them down so important? A Harvard business study revealed amazing statistics relating to goal setting and success. The study found that 14% of people who have goals are 10 times more likely to be successful in achieving them than those without. The 3% that had written goals were 3 times more successful than those who had unwritten goals. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you'll have heard of a SMART goal, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. This is predominantly used in a corporate business world, but the same principle can apply for general life goals as well. Before we talk about ultra SMART goals, I want to break down the basic elements of the traditional SMART goal. Specific. You need to say exactly what it is you want to achieve. For example, saying you want more money is not very specific. However, if you say you want £100,000 or dollars in the bank account, you have something that allows you to measure. However, you also need to be clear if that money is gross income or net profit. The specific element of the SMART goal should cover the 3 W's: who, what, and where. Think of measuring like one of those thermometers they use to mark up the funds raised for a charity. You know, the ones that they colour in the bars of as the funds come in. It's something that you can literally count and say, I have achieved X% of my goal so far. So in the example of the £100,000, when you have £25,000, you have achieved 25% of your goal. You need to have a clear system for monitoring and measuring your progress. At the very least, you want to review it at quarterly intervals between setting your goal and the date you want to achieve it. That way you can stay on top of your actions and make any adjustments as required. Achievable. Now this one is a little trickier. You obviously want a goal that is going to stretch you a bit, but you also don't want to set yourself up to fail. If you're hoping to make £100,000 selling snow to an Eskimo, well, you maybe then need to rethink your target. However, if you want to sell lovely, warm, eco-friendly coats to Eskimos, then you may be onto something. It is also helpful to consider whether others have managed to achieve similar results in the same field. Other things to consider is what resources you'll need, any legal requirements, manufacturing processes, etc. If you set a goal in January and you want to have made your £100,000 by March, but you haven't even designed the coat or sourced the materials, etc., you will need to rethink things a little. Realistic. This one sits very closely with achievable, and the considerations are very similar. Taking the last example of selling warm coats further, there is an estimated 171,000 to 187,000 Inuit and Yupik peoples in the world. Let's say every one of them bought a coat of you, but you were only making 50p profit per coat. That would only be £93,500 in your bank account. Okay, that's quite close to 100,000, but you get the picture. So, you are clear on what you want, you know how you're going to measure your progress, and you have assessed whether it is achievable or realistic. But you now need to have a deadline for achieving your goal. If you sell something at a £1 profit, sure, you can make £100,000, but it would probably take you years and years. Having a deadline really does help to focus you, but it needs to be realistic. As I said with achievable, you cannot set yourself up to fail, so be kind to yourself, but also don't give yourself forever and a day to reach your goal. The time element is also very dependent on your personal circumstances. Let's go back to the Eskimo coat analogy. If you only have a few hours a week to work on it, then it's going to take you a lot longer than if you had, say, 2 full days a week. You need to be clear on what your other time commitments are and then dedicate a specific amount of time to work on your business idea. This will give you a sense of what a realistic deadline will be. I know you probably already understand these principles, but I thought it would be really helpful to go over it again as the foundation for making your SMART goal ultra smart. For those of you who subscribe to my newsletter, you'll have the free Ultra Smart Goal worksheet in your inbox already, and you can use it to follow along and make notes for yourself. If you don't receive my newsletter, you can download this worksheet for free on my website, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes. Firstly, I'd like you to write out your goal, and for this exercise, when I say goal, I mean your high level, this will make my life so much better type of goal. Don't worry too much about it being smart at this stage. Just put what it is you would like to achieve. Using the Ultra Smart Goal worksheet as a prompt, let's go through each of these elements one by one, and you can make notes for yourself. So, for S, we already have specific, but now we're also adding simple and sensory based. By simple I mean keep it short. The more you add to it, the more confusing it becomes. Keep it higher level, then add your senses. And by this I mean, what will you see, hear, smell, and feel when you have achieved your goal? You want to really spend some time, especially with the feeling part of this. Close your eyes, if you're not driving of course, and take a minute to really imagine what it will feel like when you achieve your goal. You want to really feel that excitement and pride of achieving it bursting right out from you. Okay, got that feeling? Great. Right, moving on to M. We already have measurable, but now we want to add meaningful and motivation. And by that I mean meaningful to you. You see, you're far, far more likely to achieve your goal if it is something that is important to you. Okay, your family, your friends, and the community may also benefit, but you need to be doing it for yourself. Take smoking cessation, for example. If you're trying to quit because your partner or spouse is nagging you to, then you're much less likely to see it through. However, if you truly want to improve your health and save money to invest in your business, then it means so much more to you and your motivation will be that much higher. Which is a nice segue into the third M, motivation. You need to really, really want it. Why do you think so many people fail within the first few weeks of the age-old New Year's resolution to lose weight? They kind of say it because A, they feel guilty for overindulging over the holidays. B, they've probably set that goal every year for their entire adult life. Or C, because it's just what most people will say when making New Year's resolutions. However, if the motivation to lose weight because you want to be fitter and healthier so that you can enjoy playing and running about with your kids, you're starting to tap into your why of your goal, and that makes it so much more important to you. For A, we already have achievable, but now let's add as if now and in all areas of your life. This is an important one and touches a bit on the law of attraction, which I'll cover in a later episode in more detail. When you're writing your goal, write it as if now. For example, it is the 31st of December 2022 and I have £100,000 in my bank account. You want to live your life as if you have already achieved your goal. And you also want to be clear about how all areas of your life will change when you have achieved your goal. What will be different for you, for your health and well-being, your family, your friends, your business, etc. On to R. We have realistic, but we also want to add responsible. When we're setting goals, we can get so carried away in what we want to achieve that we may forget to consider the impact it will have on others and the environment. So, if working on achieving your goals mean that other areas of your life or your family will be neglected, then you need to rethink it. What is achieving your goal worth to you? And of course, we always want to ensure that our goals do not make an impact on our already fragile environment. And lastly, we have time-bound. But let's add towards what you want and tell others. Again, the law of attraction creeping in here. You'll find that that's a favourite topic of mine, which I'll come back to. Instead of focusing on what you don't want, which keeps you stuck in what you're lacking or missing, write exactly what it is you do want. If you've done the first 4 steps correctly, this should already be covered. But let me give you an example. If you write, I don't want to be poor, you're focusing on your lack of money. But if you focus on the exact amount of money you do want, and at the same time practice gratitude for the money you already have, you're giving your unconscious mind a clear directive to be looking for the opportunities to achieve your goal. And lastly, tell others. Put it out there. Talk about it as often as you can, without boring people, of course. You're much, much less likely to quit if others know about it. Take this podcast, for example. There have been so many times over the last 5 to 6 weeks when I wanted to give up. But I put it out there so publicly that the thought of having to go back and say, sorry guys, I'm not doing it, it's too hard, was enough to see me through those moments of self-doubt. And I'm so glad that I didn't. I'm loving this podcast already. And I've gained some really great friends along this journey too by talking about my goal. Now that you understand what makes your goal an ultra smart one, go through all of your notes and then write out your final ultra smart goal. I'll be starting a discussion thread on my free Facebook group, Working Mum to Business Mum, where you can share your ultra smart goal and we can all be each other's accountability buddies. And I'll be sharing so many more tips and hints through my monthly lives on the group that I'm sure will help you towards achieving your goal. As always, you can find me on all the usual social media channels and in my Facebook group, Working Mum to Business Mum, and on my website, coachingwithdebbie.com, where you'll find a link to sign up to my weekly newsletter so that you can get any resources I mention in my episodes directly to your inbox. You'll also find a whole host of other helpful hints, tips and information which I'm constantly updating. I'd like to leave you with another fantastic quote to ponder from Les Brown. Your goals are the roadmaps that guide you and show you what is possible for your life. I would like to wish you all a very happy new year when it comes. Enjoy the celebrations, and I'll see you in 2022 to start smashing your goals. I'll be back with my next episode on Wednesday, the 5th of January, where we'll be talking about creating an action plan for your ultra smart goal. If you like this podcast, it would really help me a lot if you can share it, rate and review it, and if you don't want to miss the next episode, which is released weekly, then hit that subscribe button. Until then, wishing you all the best.